Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MSc Fintech Economics and Financial Technology webinar. My name is Lucy Heaney. I work at the International Office here at University of Galway. Today, we are joined by Sharon Ullman, Axel Pradaconde, and Dr. Féidhlim McGowan. Just some housekeeping before we start. On the right-hand side of your screen, there's a live chat where you can ask any questions you wish. We'll try and answer them as best we can. Just so you know, for privacy reasons, we don't allow email addresses. So if you have any questions, we'll answer them now. The live chat stays up for an hour after the event and we can answer more then. And if you have any specific questions, you can stay on this platform and ask any of our international ambassadors. Thank you very much. I'll hand over to you, Féidhlim.
Hi everyone, I can't see you, but you're all very welcome to this webinar. So I'll share my screen now and I'll tell you about the FinTech program that we're very excited about, that it's starting for the first time in September. So just give me 1 second to share my screen. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. Yeah. Sharon, you can, yeah. All good. Yeah, great. Super. So this Masters in FinTech, full title, Economics and Financial Technology. It's been offered by the Economics discipline here at the School of Business and Economics at the University of Galway. And what I'll talk you through in the next 10 or 15 minutes is just, why we are offering this program now, what the main kind of unique benefits, what the main plus points of this program are, and then I'll also bring you through a bit of the detail of the program, what the course looks like, what modules you can do, and then eventually what kind of jobs you might expect to get from this Masters. Okay, so I think Sharon is going to talk a little bit more at the end about the school and Galway as a place, but I'll let you know that I started working in Galway last September, and I'm here to talk about the FinTech Masters, but as a place to live, it's really, really nice. It's an incredibly friendly city, and it's voted one of the best student cities in the world because of the people and the environment. So we might talk about more at the end or in the Q&A about that if there's time. But for now, I'll go right into the FinTech Masters. Okay. So some of you watching will know what FinTech is already. Some of you might not. You might just be curious and new to this. FinTech is essentially just when finance companies and other startups use modern technology to offer better goods and services, better financial services, essentially, to their customers. So we're offering this Masters. It's at the intersection of finance, economics, and technology. And as an economics discipline, we're coming at it from an economics point of view. So we're going to be teaching you about the fundamentals of how the FinTech innovations, how they can contribute to economic growth, how they can improve efficiency and offer better outcomes for customers. So we'll be looking at the impact of financial technology on the economy. Then there'll also be a few modules that you can take that are more kind of core economics. And these options are mostly, you don't have to take these modules. I'll talk about the layout of the program in a few minutes. And then we also have optional modules that focus on finance, on technology, and on data science. So the takeaway so far for you is that this Masters is really good because it's a pioneering, innovative Masters. We're one of the first universities in Ireland to offer this combination. And so that gives you basically an advantage to get a job in this rapidly expanding area. But also because it's in economics, you still have access to a lot of more traditional jobs. So we'll talk about that at the end. So just to give you some idea about, you might be interested in FinTech and you're wondering, well, if you're not from Ireland and you think, why should I come to Ireland to do FinTech? Well, very recently, in September 2023, a report from the Financial Services Ireland, that body, they released a report forecasting essentially that they were worried that they weren't going to have the skilled graduates for all the jobs that would be available. So they're forecasting a 44% increase in employee numbers over the next 3 years. And this should give you a good insight into the potential employment in this area. So most of you are probably familiar with Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, which runs ChatGPT. So he recently said, because OpenAI were opening European headquarters in Dublin, he recently said that Ireland blends a talented workforce with support for innovation and responsible business growth. So Ireland has a very good reputation. It already is a tech hub for Europe, like the Silicon Valley of Europe, and it's becoming a fintech hub. So we already have over 200 fintech firms operating in Ireland. So on the next slide, I'm just going to give you a snapshot of that. So this should give you some idea of the different types of fintech firms operating in Ireland. I won't go through every company. That would be a bit much, but the takeaway from this is basically that across all the different areas of finance and fintech, there are firms currently based in Ireland. So this goes everywhere from kind of traditional credit and lending. A lot of the kind of traditional banks are moving, trying to digitalize and have fintech offerings along with their traditional offerings. And then there's new firms as well, like Monzo or Revolut, or Ryzen Bank is an online digital savings platform. So I won't go through every sector here, but the takeaway should just be that this is kind of a large area, a growing area of the economy. So for example, there's large employers like Revolut have their European headquarters in Ireland, so do Stripe, and many other companies as well. So crypto and blockchain and insurtech is also expanding. So across all the different sectors of fintech, a lot of the market leaders are based in Ireland. Okay, so now I'll move on to tell you now about the actual course and what you study if you come to Galway to do this master's. Okay, so this is the course outline for the year. There's a lot of information on this slide. I'll go through it slowly enough. So, and the nice thing about this, hopefully you can, there'll be recordings, you can go back and pause it. And also if you have questions, please either put them in the chat and I'll get to them, or, whatever way you want to ask your query. So in the first semester, when you come, we have 3 core modules. So the first core module is called Financial Technology and the Economy. So this module, this basically provides a bridge. So if you're not coming from an economics background, which many of you won't be, you might be coming from engineering or computer science or something else. In this module, we'll provide, a series of bridges for you from specific technologies, like, for example, blockchain, to economic applications, like, for example, maybe a cryptocurrency, or maybe from AI to providing financial advice. And there are 2 examples. So this module, which is compulsory for everyone who takes the master's, is going to give you a good grounding in the fundamentals of how exactly, kind of going beyond the buzz and the hype of fintech, what is it actually doing? What is it actually contributing to the economy? What is it actually disrupting in the traditional finance sector? So that's the first core module. The next core module is called Financial Econometrics. This module, one of the main plus points of this module is that it's taught through Python by one of our professors, Dr. Jason Harold, who is an excellent teacher, and he will bring you through Python. He doesn't expect you to know Python before you arrive. If you do know Python, great. That's super. The first few weeks, will be a refresher for you, and you'll have more time to focus on your other courses and so on. So we find financial econometrics. Econometrics, for those who aren't from economics, you can think about it like statistics, essentially just applied to economic problems or economic data. So this is a really good course to take because learning Python is an excellent skill to have. More and more firms, whether they're in fintech or in traditional sectors, are looking for people with coding skills. And once you know how to code in one language, it's a lot easier to learn how to code in another one because you have that way of thinking about things. And then the third core module for the first term is applied portfolio management. And this is a really good, solid course to take to keep your options as wide as possible. So if you're thinking about traditional finance sector, especially, this is an excellent option for that. They will really, it's a good feather to have in your cap to say that you've studied this. And then one of the main benefits of this program is that you get a wide menu of optional modules. So we think this is one of the unique selling points of this master's, that, if you come to Galway and you're interested in fintech generally, and you want something kind of quantsy in economics, but you're not sure exactly what you want to study, one of the benefits of this is that you have a broad option, a broad range of options to choose from. So for example, you might be interested in cybersecurity risk management, or you might be interested in more traditional economic modules like macro theory or micro theory. And if you're thinking about maybe eventually you might want to do a PhD in economics, these latter ones are very good to take. Whereas if you want to maybe work in regulation, or you want to go into management, then these other modules up above would be maybe better suited for you. So that's the first semester. Then in the second semester, you come back in January and you've got 2 core modules. And behavioral finance and economics, this is the module that I'll be teaching. So I'm the program director for the whole master's, and I teach behavioral finance and economics. This is my area of expertise. I'm a behavioral economist. I'm really fascinated by how human psychology interacts with kind of economic decision making. So in this course, it will be a mix of theory and application. We'll be going through some case studies. We'll be looking at, I think I have time maybe to give one example. So we'll be looking at, for example, how the equity premium puzzle works. So the equity premium puzzle is the idea that the return on stocks is much higher relative to bonds than one would expect for normal levels of risk aversion. And it was kind of a puzzle. But when you apply behavioral economics to it and you learn about loss aversion, which I'll be teaching you, you can see basically the result we find is that loss aversion can explain why the return, the equity premium on stocks is so high. We'll also be doing, in this course, we'll also be doing a little bit of experimental testing, A/B testing, they call it in Google or Amazon, where essentially they change the format of how things are presented to people, and then they see how that affects people's decision making. So at one level, this is quite simple and basic. You have 2 versions of things. You see if one version is more popular, or maybe there's more people buy your product if you sell it a certain way. But the actual method of how you test this is really fundamental, and it's these randomized tests. We'll be going through, for example, how you set one up, how you analyze it, how you set up your control and your treatment group and all that. So that will be part of the behavioral finance and economics class. We'll also be looking at, for example, in say consumers' decision making, mortgages and loans, how different ways of presenting the financial product causes people to make different decisions. So this is something that I have published. Some of my journal articles are on this. For example, how you can change the default of a loan, a personal loan that you might take out for a car, or a house improvement or something, and how that loan is presented to people and what the default options are on the loan will actually change people's decisions over what kind of loan they want. So this is a really interesting area, because fintech is obviously a rapidly expanding area of the economy, and it brings a lot of potential benefits, but also there are potential harms. So in this class that I'm teaching, we're going to be taking a critical lens to these innovations and see which ones are good and definitely are going to benefit consumers, which ones are there more potential risks that the regulator of the industry needs to keep an eye on to make sure that consumer decision making is being supported, so that they make the best decision for themselves, and that these financial products are not being offered in a way where someone might make one decision and then look back at a later point and say, oh, I wish I didn't do that. So sorry, you can tell that I'm rambling a little bit about my own module because I'm excited to teach it. So I'll be teaching that starting in January 2025 for 12 weeks. And then the second core module that you'll be teaching, that will be taught in semester 2 is financial data analytics. So this is kind of a follow-on from financial econometrics, but it's a little bit broader in that you learn more about data visualization as well. And this is also taught through Python, and this is taught by Dr. Jason Harrell as well. So they're your two cores, and then you get, again, a broad menu of options, and you pick 3 of them. And I won't go through all of them now, but you can look up these on our website. So if you just type in the name of the module in the university website, it should bring you to the page, or even from the Fintech Masters, you can kind of click on them and you'll get more information about them. If you have specific queries about one module and you can't find the information online, you just send me an email and I'll find it for you. So one of the the advantages of having such a broad set is that you get to tailor the program to your own interest. So a lot of you might be interested in the climate crisis and how the business community and how academics and how we can address this, or how we can try and solve it, or at least minimize the damage. So if you're interested in that, you might be interested in this course, Green and Sustainable Finance, which is a new offering that only started this year. And then again, I won't go through all of them, but if you want to do kind of a more traditional economics route, you might be thinking about a PhD, or you care about statistics, then Applied Econometrics is an excellent course that's taught by Professor John Cullinan, who's a great teacher as well. And we have a broad range of courses, and some of these are not from economics. So one of the advantages of this course is that in the optional modules, you get to pick from across the School of Business and Economics. So some of these are taught by our marketing colleagues, some of these are taught by management colleagues, and so on. So I should say a little bit about the only optional module that's fintech specific is this module, Contemporary Issues in Fintech. So this module is going to be really kind of cutting edge, that we're going to be using a lot of case studies, and also we're going to get in guest speakers from industry for this module to kind of bring you through kind of at the coalface what the issue is and what the potential solutions are. So just to kind of throw it out there, to give one example, Bitcoin as a cryptocurrency is incredibly energy intensive. So it uses up enormous amounts of electricity to mine a Bitcoin. And from a sustainability point of view, this is quite troubling, or at least could be problematic. So one option there is to tax the mining of Bitcoins. But would this be fair on people who want to mine Bitcoins when other cryptocurrencies are not being taxed to the same extent? So, I mean, that's just to give you one example. There'll be other contemporary issues. It really depends what the guest speaker wants to talk about and what we think are the most pressing issues that you need to know about for your to be properly set up for a career in fintech. Okay, so that is the second module, and then in summer you either do a dissertation that can be supervised by me or one of my colleagues, and we're also going to have a summer school option. So one thing I should say is some of you might be thinking about doing a placement. We, in the first year of this, because this is it's only launching in September 24, it's normal in the first year of a new master's not to have paid internships as part of the summer, or that's often the case. So in our first year, we're not going to have placements, but we're confident that given the skill set you're going to develop and the number of jobs in this area, that there will be lots of potential employment come September when the master's is finished. So that's the summer semester. So now I'll move on to tell you a little bit more about employability, and I'll wrap up because I've been talking for 20 minutes now, and you probably have some questions. So in terms of employability, on the left here, I've given just some examples of different jobs that you can get from a master's in fintech. I won't go through all of them. And then here, this is just to kind of, this sort of is recapping what I said at the very start, that this fintech sector is rapidly expanding in Ireland across all its subsectors as well. And in addition to these fintech firms, there's many non-fintech firms that are hiring people with these technical skills. So a lot of the traditional finance industry, like Ireland's traditional banks, that might be very large and slow moving to change, they are looking to hire people with technical expertise because they want to keep up, essentially. Like I said, there's 44% growth in employment numbers forecast in the financial services industry in Ireland. And just to summarize, before I move on to the nitty-gritty of entry requirements, this degree, we're offering a unique combination, but the fact is that we're offering modules that also will make you a very sought-after employee for a kind of traditional finance sector and regulation. For example, the central bank in Ireland is hiring people who have the skills necessary to do fintech regulation and to work in that area, and also say civil service and other good employers. Okay, so I'll move on now. Now at this point, hopefully you're interested and you're wondering, okay, well, what do I need to do to enter the master's? So in terms of entry requirements and fees, so you require typically a 2-1 degree in economics to intermediate level. This is the standard entry requirement. So we'd look for micro or macro. So that would be normal across the economics masters offered in Galway, because because fintech is basically a combination of different disciplines. We're actually broadening our entry requirements for this master's. So while if you do have economics to intermediate level, you're very, very encouraged to apply. If you have a 2-1 in a different master's, for example, engineering, computer science, mathematics, technology, I've just given out some examples there. That's not an exhaustive list. If you have a 2-1, which is it varies from country to country what the equivalent is, but we have, if you can't find that information online, you can contact us and we'll find it for you. Typically, I know in India, for example, it's about 65% in your continuous GPA, but it will vary slightly depending on the country and the university even. So if you're coming from a non-economics background, you're very welcome to apply, and you're encouraged to apply for the program. We will ask you to do an online preparatory course. This isn't in no way related to being accepted onto the program. This preparatory course you do, over summer. It's an online course in just the fundamentals of economics, and that will just essentially, it's for your own sake, that when you arrive, that you're comfortable and that you've been acquainted with the basics and kind of some things that we might assume that you know. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. And then English language score is the same as all the other masters in Galway, 6.5, and these are the fees for next year. So I've talked you through why you should be, what fintech is and how it's growing in Ireland, the course, and jobs you can get from it, and the entry requirements. So I will wrap up there and say thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any queries, you can email me. There's my email address. Sorry it's so long. Or if you have questions now in the chat, I'll try and get to them now. So that's the end of my slideshow. Should I leave my slides up, or I'll stop sharing?
You can stop sharing, Féidhlim. Thanks a million. That was fantastic, very thorough and informative.
Super. I hope I didn't go into too much information or anything. I hope
no
one fell asleep listening.
That's exactly why we're all here. So
Right.
it was great. Thanks a million. It was very thorough.
Sorry, Féidhlim, there's just one question there in the live chat. Could you share more about the program's primary focus? Is it predominantly centered around finance, economics, or technology?
Thanks, Axel. Hi, Pretty. Thanks for the question. I hope that the going through the course outline and the different modules will kind of give you an idea of that. Essentially, it is a blend of all three, that we have designed specific modules that blend them all within one module within the 12 weeks. And then depending on your own interest, you can try and tailor the program to what you care most about. So if your primary interest is economics, then you can pick all the economics optional modules. Or, if you care more about finance, you can pick, green and sustainable finance and corporate finance and all the finance optional modules. But it's essentially a blend. But one thing I do want to note that I didn't emphasize in the presentation was that a lot of fintech is that combination of say, for example, blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, and offering consumers an alternative to using their fiat currency. From an economics perspective, we won't be teaching you how to make a cryptocurrency or how to start up a blockchain from scratch, because that's not our area of expertise. So if you are interested in learning those skills, then this wouldn't be the master's for you. So for your second question, how it's distinctive from established finance courses. So established finance courses won't have modules like behavioral economics and finance. They won't teach you about why is it that something like Revolut is more effective than, say, some traditional banking app for sending money to your friends. It won't teach you about network effects in economics and how that interacts with kind of, say, group norms or being part of the in-group, that psychological aspect. So that was just one example from my own course. But traditional finance courses are not set up to critique how new technologies kind of disrupt or complement different sectors of the economy. So at the same time, as you can tell from the course outline, there is a lot of similarities. You can come into FinTech Masters and make it as traditional as you want it to be by picking all the established finance modules. And yeah, I hope that kind of answers the question. Yeah, thanks. And if you have more questions, just send me an email.
Great. Okay, thanks a million, Féidhlim. And then I suppose we want to talk about the application process. So it's quite straightforward. Offers are made on a rolling basis, so we don't have a closing date, but we would recommend that applications are made as soon as possible because there is a lot of demand for the programme, and it will close. So to get the offers in as soon as possible, there's a QR code there on the screen. Applications are made online, offers online, and then just apply early to secure the offer. So I think that's really the main thing there. And then we just move on to we also have scholarships. So it's the school has in particular scholarships outside of the university. So it's the Business Postgraduate Merit Scholarship, which can be up to 50% of the tuition fee. And to be eligible, you must just have accepted your offer by the 30th of April. That's for our international cohort, and paid the deposit. So to accept your offer, you have to pay your deposit. So once that's done by the 30th of April, you're automatically considered for the scholarship. And I think, there's a QR code there as well. So that's really, they're the kind of housekeeping things that are dealt with now, I suppose. I suppose really the only thing I have to add to Féidhlim, I think you mentioned there, Féidhlim, you mentioned that Galway is a great place to live, but I suppose I want to reiterate that and just speak a little bit about the university. So why should you study? We can see why you should study the programme because Féidhlim has described it so well, and hopefully you're all rushing out now to accept offers or to make an application. But the university, we are one of the top we're the top 2% of the universities in the world. And University of Galway was established in 1845, and it's a world-renowned research-led university, and the school is at the forefront of this research. We're located in the heart of a very vibrant and distinct region in Ireland called Connemara, on the wild Atlantic coast. And Galway City is a thriving cosmopolitan city, and really it's the most culturally diverse. I think everybody will agree with me here that it's the most culturally diverse city in Ireland, with many festivals and events taking place throughout the year, and it really is a hub of activity at all times of the year. But that said, it's a very safe city. It's very small. We've only 80,000 inhabitants, and I think 20,000 are students. So it's a very student-centric city, but it's compact and it's very easy to navigate, and everything is within walking distance. And as Féidhlim said, it is a fabulous place to live. It's also a lovely place to study and to work. And then just on completion of our programs, our graduates are work ready, career ready, and world ready. You'll be encouraged to think outside the box, push boundaries, find solutions for global opportunities and challenges. And we aim to instill and nurture skills that are required for the workplace, such as leadership skills, communication and collaboration skills, analytical skills, technical skills, and cross-cultural skills. And while at the university, we are focusing not just on your academic development, but on your personal development and your professional development. And there's a real focus on that. And all our post programs are developed based on cutting-edge research and in response to industry demands. And we collaborate very closely with industry through research, placements, site visits, seminars, external engagement, and such. And I think Féidhlim will agree with that even in this program, it was very much collaborative with industry. And we're constantly innovating all of our programs, and this program is a perfect example of our ability to adapt to the changing industrial landscape. So hopefully we've given you a good insight into the program and into living in Galway, living and studying in Galway. And if you have any questions, just feel free to put them in the chat or contact us directly at Féidhlim McGowan, and he can pass on any questions to us that you have for us. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, everyone. And that was really, really informative. So thank you all. If any of you have further questions, the live chat will stay up for the next hour, so we can still answer questions. If not, if you'd like to ask anything of our student ambassadors, you can use this platform to do so. So thank you very much for your time.